Good evening, guys, and happy Thursday to all of your sunshiny faces. I do not have a grocery store haul for you guys because I think I mentioned in yesterday's vlog how we were cleaning out the car because my mom actually needed to take it because it was going to be famous. But it was actually going to be in a TV scene that was shooting like in the city today, and so we ended up cleaning out the car yesterday, took it to the car wash and everything like that. So my mom didn't end up getting back until maybe around like the time my dad and Jack ended up getting back from football practice, like right before that. But before like my dad left for football practice, he got home, was home for maybe like 5 or 10 minutes and then ended up leaving. But he had even already said like that we probably wouldn't wind up going just because my mom still wasn't home yet. So yeah, we didn't end up going just because I was sort of, when my dad came home, he was like, we can still go if you want, but he's like, you know, like we both had sort of already like planned on not, and I had just made myself something to eat too, so I was gonna either have to come back home and eat it cold or like wait till I finished it, and then by that time it was sort of like, we didn't know, like I said, what time my mom was going to be home. So we just, you know, we didn't even think about it like yesterday until, and I didn't even think about it either until sort of like earlier. I was like, my mom might not be home before like that time today, you know, by the time they actually get back from football. But she was just barely on time. Like I said, she got home like maybe no more than like 15 minutes probably before they got back. So yeah, anyways, we didn't end up going. But like I said, my mom was gone today. She ended up leaving at 7:30 this morning, and just barely was able to like get Jack, took him to school and everything like that. And I had told him yesterday, because I woke up early yesterday, so I told him, I was like, can you wake me up in the morning? My mom, if she remembers, she can lock the door. If not, Jack doesn't, I don't think, normally carries a key on him, which he should, because we have like extra house keys. Like my mom ended up getting copies made, and I think she ended up getting like one extra copy made, but then we realized that we still had extra keys anyway. I don't even know, there's like extras floating around somewhere. But yeah, Jack has one, I just don't know where he has it or is keeping it or anything. I think I actually have two. But anyways, so like I said, he, you know, I got up, like made sure that the dogs were locked up in the hallway. The puppies were with me, but Bliss in the hallway, so that she didn't wind up getting into anything while I was still in my room, like getting up or anything. And two, so that I could just get up earlier, because I was like, oh, you know, if I can, that would be really awesome. And, you know, maybe get myself back on track, because it was weird, like, what's today, Thursday? So I think on Tuesday, I actually, because Monday I got up early to go to the grocery store, Tuesday though, I actually woke up and was like up for like maybe about 15 or 20 minutes before I actually did fall back asleep. And this was again like before my alarm went off. I keep waking up before my alarm is going off. So today I ended up, well, last night I couldn't fall asleep because I had the worst Charlie horse that I got some point during the day yesterday, and I could not sleep because I couldn't have my other leg on top of it, and I couldn't have like even my other, like the one that had the Charlie horse, like on top of the other leg, because it was just hurting so bad. And I couldn't like put a pillow in between it either, because like any pressure on it was just driving me crazy, and I like literally could not sleep. And so it was actually okay if I was laying like completely flat on my back, but I was insanely uncomfortable. I hate sleeping that way. So I normally sleep on my side, but I couldn't, because that was where all the pain felt like it kept coming from. I took a tennis ball last night and was like rubbing it on top of like the Charlie horse's spot where it was, and I literally could not get it to go away, or like at least to stop bothering me enough so I could fall asleep. So it took me like probably an hour, almost 2 hours before I finally fell asleep. I think I finally fell asleep by about 2 o'clock in the morning. And then this is the creepy story of how a strange man was standing at the foot of my bed today. It's so weird because this literally feels like it actually happened, but like, yeah. So it's 7:30 in the morning, and apparently my mom and Jack end up leaving to, you know, they're out, you know, whatever, out by the car. Jack goes, oh, I forgot to go wake Kayla up. He comes back into the house. He is all dressed for school, but he comes in my room. Apparently he knocked. I don't know if he actually did. the dogs start freaking out because he has his mask on for school, but it's down, like sort of pulled down, like it's more around his chin. So he's like, he knocks on the door. He like I said, I don't know if he did or not. He said he did. But the dogs start barking and freaking out, and they would not be quiet. I think they did not recognize him. And I sit up in bed and my jaw just drops. I was like, oh my gosh, like, who is this person standing at the foot of my bed? At first, like, again, they're barking, so I didn't really, like, he was standing there for like a good second or two, like staring at the dogs. And what is running through my head at this time is like, okay, I don't recognize this person. And I thought like it was like somebody maybe like my mom knew, or like, at first I also thought it could have been my dad, and then I was like, this dude is really short, because Jack's not really like that much shorter than my dad, but my dad is a lot thinner, and so I definitely, like, when I saw him, I was like, I don't know who this person is. And then I thought it was Matthew, but again too, Matthew's a little bit taller than Jack. And so again, I was like, I'm trying to, again, process. It's 7:30 in the morning, not having a lot of sleep. My alarms hadn't even gone off. The only thing that is making noise was the dogs when, like, you know, because sometimes, like, if the alarm goes off, I'm sort of, like, woke up, but maybe I'm not actually awake, really. But I was, like, a deep sleep when he comes in and the dogs start freaking out and, like, terrifying me. And, like I said, I totally do not recognize him. And this is, like, it felt so real, and, like, to right now, I still feel like there was actually somebody in my room that I didn't know who it was. Because it was so terrifying to me. I've never been scared like this, like, ever, or woken up like this ever, like, in my life like that, like, where it's somebody I don't recognize. Like, normally, again, my dad will knock on the door and I'll get, like, startled or something like that and be like, oh, like, he's just trying to, like, wake me up or whatever. But like I said, I didn't, like, Jack came in here, mask on, I didn't recognize him. Like I said, my jaw drops, and I'm like, like, I literally did one of those. Like, and he's like, I was like, finally, after like a couple seconds, he's like, Kayla, it's 7:30, we're leaving. You know, like, me and mom are gonna leave, come get Bliss and lock the door. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even recognize you. I got up to go, like, let Bliss in, lock Bliss up and stuff like that. I was shaking because I was so terrified. I was like I said, I am totally freaked out. Like I said, till right now, I was so scared and so like I didn't understand, like, I still haven't fully processed what happened yet, that it still feels like I said, somebody was in my room that I didn't know. And so Jack, like I said, is standing at the foot of my bed, came in the door, and like I said, the dogs too were the other thing that was freaking me out, because I'm like they just like kept going off on him, like did not know who he was, and totally also were probably just as frightened as I was, as like this stranger comes in our house, you know, in my bedroom, and they are, you know, like they're barking at him or whatever. And like I said, he was sort of like not aggressive the way he came in, but like I think he just like knocked or whatever and like opened the door. Totally had me and the dogs freaked out, and we all thought it was an intruder at that point. And I'm like trying to figure out, like, why isn't he like attacking me or something like that? Like, why is he just standing here? And then, like I said, I'm totally trying to process who this person is. And then once he says like, me and mom are leaving, and then I'm still thinking like it's Matthew almost even, like, and I don't know why, but I was like totally not awake, totally terrified. I, like I said, have never actually been that scared in my entire life. Like, I feel like there's moments when you know that you're going to be scared, or like something like that, or like, you know, like your reflexes or whatever, like if I walk into a room and somebody jumps out and scares me, whatever, like I'm awake, like, you know, I have reflexes that I can, you know, like fight or flight sort of thing. But I was like in such a vulnerable like sleep that I was totally not expecting that at all, and terrified me. And then I'm thinking like I'm gonna grab my lamp right there and like hit him over the head with it, because I didn't recognize him. And two, like, because it was also raining at 7:30 in the morning, so it was really dark. I guess I should have said that at the beginning. So that's why there was no like light hardly at all in my room. I couldn't see anything. So that's the other reason why I didn't recognize this sort of shadow masked figure in my room. And so like I said, my lamp, which is right there, I like at one point was like thinking of like grabbing it too, and yeah, it was terrifying, guys. Never been this scared before probably in my life. But like I said, it was probably a good thing that it was Jack and not some actual stranger or something like that. Because that's my other thing, was that I was like, did I startle him because he's not doing anything? Like, you know, like, was he looking for money and now he's like didn't know what to do? Like, should I leave? Should I run? Are the dogs actually going to hurt me? And then at the same time too, I'm also thinking, Bliss is right in the hallway, like, or right in the other room or something like that. Like, why isn't she barking? So like I said, once he finally said something, I pieced everything together and then realized what was happening. But I started shaking because I was actually so freaked out and frightened. And like I said, I never actually woken up like and like did one of the like, oh my gosh, and like gasped, and like I didn't know what to do. So like I said, guys, that was the most excitement I need for like the next year, probably. Was it fitting too that it was like in October, like the scariest month probably of the year? So yeah, like I said, now that that is like all out of my system, and I feel like I said though, I'm still to this moment feel like there was like not somebody I knew. Like that's how terrified I am still of what happened. But I ended up actually falling back asleep afterwards somehow, because I don't know if it was from the actual fright or maybe I ate something before I went to bed last night, but my stomach was sort of like off too. And so I was like, I'm just gonna wait until my alarm goes off at 8 o'clock, which was like in a half hour. And I was like, and I'm so scared right now that I don't think I'd even be able to fall back asleep. Somehow I ended up managing to fall back asleep and ended up sleeping through, you know, my alarm clocks then. And I woke up maybe around 10 o'clock or like maybe close to 11, something like that, somewhere in between there. But yeah, guys, so I think the dogs also have had, like I said, a major fright, and they're like totally over it. Like, I wonder if that's how the dogs feel like a lot of the time. Like, we get so mad at them sometimes for like barking, like, you know, oh, if somebody comes in my room or something like that, or like, you know, if they're like sleeping on the couch downstairs and they hear a noise or something like that. I think because they're so sensitive and they hear that kind of stuff so much more than us, that's literally like what they're experiencing, sort of. And I think that maybe because they're smaller dogs, like Bliss doesn't have that problem really all that much, but maybe because they're smaller dogs, like they just like get so freaked out so easily. And I mean, I know that's sort of like a thing you can train out of them a little bit more, but like having that experience too, I can understand why they would be like so like I said, nervous sometimes and like yippy and stuff like that, just because of, again, they're in a deep sleep right now. If somebody just happens to like come in my bedroom door, they'd probably start barking. I'd probably start like freaking out again too, just because it's not something that we're expecting. Again though, because I'm awake, I'm a little bit more prepared for something happening, like a ceiling light falls, or you know, like something falls over or whatever. Like, it'd freak me out, but like I'm still awake enough to like, again, my reflexes to sort of like ward that off or whatever, like if it hits me or something like that. But yeah, was not expecting that in the middle of a deep sleep. And so I wonder if that's sometimes what the dogs experience too. And now it makes me feel a little bad for them. Like, I feel bad that I'm constantly like yelling at them for barking. But anyways, guys, I will see you all in tomorrow's vlog.